Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? Well, with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills. Wait, did I say job title yet? Get started today and see how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
Gatorade is the #1 proven electrolyte blend designed to hydrate better than water. So you can lose more sweat and raise your game. Gatorade, is it in you?
Welcome back to the Infinite Rabbit Hole. I'm your host, Jeremy, and tonight we have a special guest, somebody who is going to break open her story. Let us see beneath the covers what went on and what goes on in her life and her family's. I'd like to introduce everybody today to Coco Sianne Ryder, our guest coming in all the way from halfway across the world. How are you today, Coco?
How am I this morning at 3:30 a.m.? I'm half decent. Thank you.
So tell us a story. You took a 3-hour nap ish?
No, I tried to take a nap and I couldn't sleep at all. I took a nap around 2 o'clock today, 2 p.m. and that didn't really satiate my my need for sleep at all. I've been suffering from severe insomnia for 3 days, so I'm surprised I am functioning at all. But it might actually work to our benefit that I'm slightly tired.
Well, she got a little shot of adrenaline just before recording this evening.
Yeah.
Or
she's in
this
the
morning.
theta. She's got theta brainwaves going on right now, so she's in between. So she's going to be locked in. She's going to be in that flow state the whole time. Watch.
I hope so. I hope so. I really hope so.
So, Jeff, do you have anything before we get into this?
No, not really. As Spectrum Assassin has noticed, I have achieved matter displacement. I am no longer on the couch. I am here at the desk. So, teleportation confirmed.
Yeah, she, the boss of the house, let him move off the couch. That's good.
Yeah, honestly, the couch is cool and it's a good frame, but it's not comfortable to sit on for an hour, 2 hours, whatever. So I just move back to the game chair. It's just more comfortable.
It feels more professional to sit at the desk now.
Yeah, but I'm not a professional guy. Look at me.
He falls asleep on camera all the time.
Yeah, I fall asleep on the couch midstream.
You look pretty professional to me.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate it. Shout out to Tesseract, by the way. I got all the Tesseract merch on. I'm Tesseract out.
I've seen that today. I was like, what is going on here?
Fanboyed out.
My partner specifically works with all those kinds of shapes in his artwork.
Awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So, Coco, you are here to tell us a bit of a story today, a story of your life. You come from quite the lineage.
Mm-hmm.
Lineage of celebrity, right?
Artists.
specifically your father and grandfather. Your father, now most of our listeners are U.S. based. We do
Yeah.
have some from overseas as well. But for our U.S. based listenership, just to kind of explain who your father is
Mm-hmm.
Sean Ryder, the lead singer of the Happy Mondays.
Yeah, he is.
Now, not a lot of us over here are familiar with the Happy Mondays, but
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people over there are very familiar with them.
Yeah. His fame is mainly his success is in the UK. He was one of the pioneers of the late 80s, early 90s rave music scene in Manchester and London. And they formed kind of particular music called Madchester or baggy music, which was rave music, but done with like real live instruments like drums and bass and guitar and stuff like that. And they used to throw out bags of ecstasy to the crowd and stuff. And so, yeah, he was quite famous in Japan for a while. And I'm sure there's maybe one or two other countries where he got quite famous, like probably Brazil. But yeah, he's now more of a television personality in the UK. He does a lot of TV shows and comedy shows and stuff like that. My grandfather, on the other hand, is the global, worldwide famous guy.
Yeah, your grandfather is incredibly famous, Donovan.
Yeah.
When I called my dad the other day, and I was like, "Hey, just off a whim, I was like, hey, Dad, do you know of a Scottish singer songwriter folk music artist named Donovan?" He's like, yeah, I went and saw him at Wesleyan University in 1970 something, and I was like, oh yeah. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, Donovan. He goes, Mellow Yellow, man. Yeah, of course I know Donovan. Yeah, and he's like, oh yeah, your Uncle Joe know Donovan too. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm interviewing his granddaughter tomorrow, and he's like, no fucking way, man. I was like, yeah. I was like, so that's it's really cool. That's really cool. Donovan is wow.
Yeah. I always really enjoy when I see people's face light up when they find out who my grandfather is, because they're really fans of the music, and it obviously really moved them in a big way. And I love seeing that.
Yeah, he just got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame too, didn't he?
I think that was like 2014.
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember, but it wasn't that long ago. It
wasn't that long
just
ago.
Awesome, just awesome stuff.
Yeah.
But
wait, I'm sorry. I don't mean to just like jump in here on this for a second. So his backing musicians were John Bonham, Jimmy Page, and John Paul Jones.
Well, he worked with so many musicians. I mean, he's a folk singer. So he's got his guitar, he's got his harmonica, and it's usually him alone up on stage. But then he does a lot of work where he gets together with a lot of other musicians and session musicians, and they make these incredible albums. And he rarely does concerts where he has other musicians join him on stage. So
yeah, Jeff, he had a really strong tie with the founding members of Led Zeppelin, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's pretty cool, because I did see that there was like something somewhere about him teaching John Lennon the finger picking guitar style, which is insane, right? I'm not like the biggest Beatles fan. I mean, I got respect. I'm a musician as well, so like obviously I respect the legends for being the legends, but I'm a huge Led Zeppelin fan, so like that's
me too. I got to meet Jimmy Page. Is it Jimmy Page? Yeah,
Jimmy Page, the guitar player.
I got to meet him a couple of times, and his daughter. They did a concert in the Royal Albert Hall several years ago, where they performed the Hurdy-Gurdy Man together and a couple of other songs. So I think the Hurdy-Gurdy Man was originally, that song was being designed for the upcoming band Led Zeppelin, but they gave it to Don, and then he wrote the lyrics for it. And it was like new for him to go in this sort of rock and roll direction. And Jimmy Page originally did the guitars on that. He also, which is very unknown, that I kind of only found out recently, he did the vocals on Alice Cooper's $1 Million Baby.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting to find that out. They were both in the same studio, and Alice Cooper had like some backing singers, like some ladies, and they weren't quite getting what he was going for. And he went into the studio and he said, "Dawn, I want you to come in here and I want you to sing this for me, and I want you to show these ladies what I'm looking for." And he did it, and they decided to keep it, and he was never credited for it. But
$1 Million Baby.
Hate to see that, but yeah, that's cool. That's pretty awesome.
That is phenomenal. So I could sit here and talk about this stuff all night long, or morning long in your case, right? We can have a cup of coffee or tea and just talk about it. And trust me, I could. But you're here to tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I'm going to basically hand over the mic, and Jeff and I will just kind of jump in whenever, something pops up. But this is why you're here, right? This is your platform. Mm-hmm. This is your opportunity. And you tell it in any way that you want, any way whatsoever.
I've been preparing all these notes and gathered all my books together and all this stuff, like trying to prepare on what to say. And in the end, I just kind of was like, just go with the flow, and whatever comes out, comes out, all the books here and everything.
That's the best way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're here. We're here.
Fortunately, I'm slightly cognitively impaired because I'm I don't even know how I'm functioning right now, but I am. But yeah, I think I can more or less get the story out. Honestly, I don't really know why I'm doing this. I don't know what's possessed me to be suddenly like, okay, I'm gonna tell the world my story. I just feel like, I'd rather live a normal life and, have some babies and raise some chickens and, dance to the Bloodhound Gang in my room, half naked in the middle of nowhere, and have fun and enjoy myself. But the reality is that I've had these insane experiences, and I've learned a lot of things that I should not have learned. And I could go the rest of my life not sharing them. But what's the point of going through these things if you don't share all this knowledge?
Yeah.
Like it would be a waste, I got to start at some point. So,
well, you're telling the story to two friends. That's all you're doing. All right.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, just pretend there's not 8 million people watching live right now.
There's definitely not.
Definitely.
We can all wish there was.
Yeah.
Now that might be different on the next show that you go to.
Well, I don't know. They don't have a lot of followers. They don't have that many followers.
They got more than this one.
I mean, maybe like 100,000 people will see it.
Oh yeah, no, that's it.
No big deal. Yeah, 100,000.
Yeah,
easy money.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, I don't really want to do it, but as I said, I think I should. So Here I am. I'm also starting my own podcast, and I, would like to get a few people that are interested in that. I'm not really going to talk about what I'm going to share here on my podcast. I'm going to talk about the occult, magic, and mysticism, to try and demystify, let's say. No, it's got a really bad name for itself in recent years because of all of the sort of satanic imagery and all of the crazy shit going on these days in the music industry, the entertainment industry in general. There's a lot of weird shit going on all over the world. And so the occult has gotten a bad rep, and rightfully so, because it's being used in such sick and twisted ways to manipulate the people across the world. But in reality, it's a tool that can be used for good or it can be used for bad, and it's just basically the architectural makeup of the universe that we live in. So I kind of want to talk about that. But right now, we're going to talk about my story, which I guess is the use of magic and mind control within the entertainment, which is from my personal point of view and perspective because of the world that I was born into and grew up in. But in reality, these kinds of systems of control and magic are used by occult groups on anyone or towards anyone that they find useful or interesting. So it could be politicians, or it could be literally just say, like, you got a Freemason and he has a daughter who is born gifted or has a very powerful astrology chart, and they'll notice that and see that, and this person might never do anything in their life that influences the world in any way. They might not become a politician or a singer or whatever, but they have a certain energetic power about them. And these cult-like groups, especially Freemasons, they surround these people and they harvest their energy and they use their energy. And this is where the unbelievable aspect comes in, is because we're talking about energy and we're talking about magic, and not everyone's going to believe that magic is real. And I'm not trying to prove anything, but that's the direction. That's the direction of the conversation. I'm not going to get into like, oh, I was part of a ritual and I saw all this weird stuff happening. There's plenty of people out there who are talking about the stuff that they've seen happening. But in my experience, I was never brought into all of that because they only bring people into that stuff that they can corrupt or control, or people that are disposable. It's very hard talking about this stuff because I've basically kept it a secret for 10 years. Well, I'm 31 now, and I kind of stumbled upon all of these secrets when I was 19 by accident in a sort of eyes wide shut kind of style.
Whoa.
Completely different scenario, but the same kind of story. In the sense that it wasn't, big fancy mansions and stuff like that. It was more in the nightclub scene and stuff like that, or I was hanging out at a certain place and I noticed all of these things around, all of these symbols and all of these things going on. And I was young, I was 19, and I was a bit arrogant, and I considered myself like I was going through my kind of spiritual awakening where I was noticing things and feeling things, and I thought that I was smart and interesting, and I thought I'd go and investigate this place. And I did. I investigated and I asked questions, and my life was never the same after that. From that point onwards, it was just an escalation of insane events. So that was like my lifting of the veil, basically, when I started asking these questions because at the time I was always into, conspiracy theories and stuff. So I was reading about Freemasonry and symbolism and all of the occult stuff going on in the entertainment industry. And I was spending a lot of time in the internet. And then I see this stuff in this place and I'm like, I recognize this stuff. I bet you something strange is going on here. And then the eyes wide shut kind of stuff happened. People start following you and people start asking you questions and all of these unusual things start happening. And then after that, we'll go more into detail about that in a little bit. But after that, I kind of discovered this whole world around me where I was living. And then it started to trigger a lot of things, like started making connections about myself and my family and realizing that this kind of stuff has been happening to me and my family for a very long time. This isn't just something I've stumbled upon. This is something that we've been involved in my whole life. Do you have any questions?
Jeff?
Not yet. I mean, obviously, like I'm curious at what some of these experiences are and some of the stuff. I'm personally the conspiracy guy on this show too, so I can relate to you on that. So I'm sure when you start kind of getting into it, it's going to probably it's going to hit. So.
Mm-hmm.
Got some good news for your ears. More of that good stuff is coming up. And even better news for your hair. The best hair care is at Sephora. They've got all kinds of products for every kind of hair. From brands like Amika, Kerastase, Day, and K18. You knew where to get great audio. Now, you know where to get great hair care, too. Sephora. Good news for great hair. Shop hair care now at Sephora.com.
You open the Walmart app and boom! The Reebok and Hanes styles that keep your kiddos on their A game delivered in as fast as an hour. That's right, those comfy Hanes Performance Crew socks they love in the app. And the coolest shirts, shorts, hoodies, and leggings from Reebok? Yep, Walmart's got them. They'll feel so focused in their new gear they won't even notice you freaking out on the sidelines. Shop Reebok and Hanes in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new. Subject to availability, fees, and restrictions apply.
I was deep in it, gaming on Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. Unfolding the screen made it twice as big and so immersive, I kinda lost myself. Might have trolled a little too close to the sun. Someone in the chat told me to touch grass, so I took my Z Fold 7 outside and kept playing. Still won, got a tan, and a nice little reset. Powerful processor, realistic graphics, you stay locked in, streak stays alive. Can your phone do that?
The new Galaxy Z Fold 7. Get yours at Samsung.com.
No, I'm, again, feel free to, just deny answers. Perfectly okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind expanding upon what some of these things that caught your interest were?
Yeah. So within the club, there was quite a lot of symbolism around. You had the black and white tiled floors that were specifically centered in the center of the venue, in a sort of square that went down on a couple of steps. And then you had these sculptures around, it's kind of like bacchanalian Greek sculptures with the grapes and things like that. And I noticed within and around the property, all of the female sculptures had their noses taken off. And these are new sculptures, they're not ancient sculptures. All of the noses had been taken off. And the nose for the woman is a symbol of their ability and capacity to sense a correct mate. And this kind of place is the kind of place where people go to meet and, have fun and maybe end up having sex with someone, right?
Yeah.
It's a nightlife kind of place. And so I found that interesting. And I noticed that the visuals that they played on the on the wall when the music was playing were all really dark and twisted fucking things. I remember just kind of dancing and looking up and thinking, what the fuck am I watching? And looking around at the people, completely oblivious to this. And then I kind of like looked at the corners and the kind of people standing around. And I started asking some questions to the people around, and they all had the same kind of reaction. And what else can I tell you? Even the name of the place, which I'm not going to say, is a reference to an old myth about some kind of monster in a cave that ate these 3 young women. And
okay.
Eventually, over the years, I noticed something about the nightlife scene, specifically where I grew up, that they use a lot of Mayan symbolism, and there's just a lot of dark stuff. Because you got to understand that the nightlife scene, it's all to do with the criminal networks. And the whole thing, it's all connected. Cults, criminal networks, the politicians, military, it's all one big network. So yeah, at a certain point, I decided, and I have no fucking idea why, I decided I would ask a particular person who's like the main face of this place what was going on. So after an event, I went up to him and I asked him what's going on. And of course, he said, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then, like 2 days later, I was followed by a blue car. And this had never happened to me before in my life. Never experienced any kind of following or stalking or anything like that. And they use specific colors like blue and red, things like that, to capture your attention, I suppose. And then I thought, well, that's a bit odd. That's a bit strange. And a few days later, I'm walking up towards the church or down from the church. And I noticed someone like really like following me, and I stopped and I looked behind and they stopped. And they made it really obvious that they were following me, like overly trying to show me that they were following me. This was done on purpose.
It was a mind game.
Yeah, they want you to know that we're following you. And then at a certain point, this is when things, after like a couple of months like this, of all of these strange things happening, this is something that they put a lot of, let's say, initiates through. People like celebrities and stuff like that. It's the classic symbolism of the devil at the crossroads, where they meet you at the crossroads. And you'll notice in a lot of films, what they do is they'll get in the car with this devil that they meet at the crossroads, and this devil will drive the car really fast in a very kind of scary way to freak the person out. There's a few films. There's one incredible film where Samuel Jackson plays the devil, and he does exactly that. I can't think of any other films at the moment. But yeah, I was hanging out on my balcony when this guy parks a car out front my apartment and asked me to come downstairs. So I do, and I get in the car with him. We talk for a while, and I get in the car with him. And he starts driving like a madman, obviously. And he takes me to this apartment complex. And the apartment complex is brand new, and it's very luxury, and it doesn't have anyone living in it yet. And it's just him in this huge luxury apartment complex by the sea. We go in, we sit down, we talk, we roll a joint. And there's a few things in the room, symbolic things, like some kind of wooden kind of sculpture with a kind of phallic symbolism. And then there's a box in the center of the table with some batteries in it and a few other strange kind of symbolic things. We start talking and stuff, and I noticed at a certain point, a light comes on in the apartment complex that's in front of us. And we can see it out the windows. It's like, not windows, it's like glass doors that goes onto the balcony. And the light comes on, and you can see it's, what kind of lighting is that when it's from the back? So the person, it just looks like a shadow.
Like a
and the
silhouette?
light is, yeah, like a silhouette. And he's there sitting at the table like this, and he's looking down at us from this apartment. And this is where things started to get really weird. I can't remember exactly the details of the conversation. I had been smoking weed for many years, never had any problems. But after this day, I've never been able to smoke weed again because of the paranoia that it induces. At a certain point, we leave. We're walking through the hallway, and there's a cricket in the hallway. And he goes to step on it to kill it. And he's like, I'm going to kill this little thing. And I'm like, don't fucking kill that. It's a symbol of the conscience, right? He turns around to me and he says, by the way, they're all pedophiles, randomly. And then when we get to the exit, he says, we get to the exit of this luxury complex. He says, if you ever need me, if you ever need anything, if you want to live in an apartment like this and you want to get a good job, you come here and you put this code inside the keypad to get inside the luxury complex. It was in the shape of an L. I can't remember which numbers it was. It said, I can help you. I can help you find a nice apartment, get a nice job, and all that stuff. Obviously, I kind of understood what was going on. I don't know if you guys, this is making any sense to you guys, because I hope I'm making enough sense.
I mean,
I'm tracking. I've actually go ahead, Jeremy.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, it's making sense. I'm following the story, but I don't think we're meant to be put in the position where we're supposed to feel like we're fully. I don't know, like feeling like we're first person, because this isn't something that's going to happen to us or something that has happened to us. This is an incredible story so far.
Yeah.
I am locked in, very interested, by the way.
Well, it's just a little introduction to the rest, to tell you where it kind of all began and what opened my eyes to all of this strange stuff.
Jeff, you were saying?
Oh, I was just going to say, it's just interesting because I've spoken to one other person on my show before, and they have a similar story thus far, right? Obviously, like a lot of details weren't exactly the same, but like when you're talking about somebody following them, you talked about like some of the symbolism. Obviously, I'm familiar with some of that symbolism just in my conspiratorial, studies, if you will. But I spoke to somebody else who also was followed, and then had that whole devil on the crossroads experience. And then, that person ended up going on to being in a couple of different secret societies later on in his life. So pretty interesting.
Well, me being a retarded 19-year-old, having no fucking idea what I was doing, just having fun, seeing what I'm capable of and proving to myself that my intuition is correct. That's basically all I was doing. I had no interest in joining these people. None whatsoever. The next day I woke up and I took my time. The guy gave me his phone number on a piece of paper. He said, you can call me as well. I went to the beach. And I sat down on a bench and I waited. I waited, and eventually someone showed up. And these people, these kinds of goon people, they all have the same kind of look. Kind of like the character from, what's that Quentin Tarantino movie with the car, Death Proof? You seen that movie? With Kurt Russell. Yeah.
I don't watch a lot of movies.
Jeremy's never seen a single movie in his life.
Wow.
I'm not the guy for movies.
You're not a movie guy. All right,
I'm not.
That's interesting. Anyway, so this guy shows up and he sits behind me and he makes it very evident that he has an eagle tattooed on his neck, which is obviously the sign of being watched. I took out my piece of paper and I made it very clear that it had the number of this guy on it. And I did a little prayer and I burnt it. And then I lit some sage. And I burnt it and I made it clear that, I'm not interested in any of this. And then that's when the following became more like harassment. And I went from this very fun, happy, kind of hippie-ish teenager over the next 2 years to being more, there was a certain point where I just didn't leave my apartment because people were breaking into my apartment, moving stuff around, leaving shit there. And it got weird. And a few things happened that were very traumatic that I don't know if I really want to mention because I don't want to give anyone any ideas. But yeah, there was a few things that happened that were really sick and traumatic that make you go through what is called like the silence programming. When you discover these things, they put you through a series of traumatic things that basically tell you, keep your mouth shut, And so I did. I kept my mouth shut for 10 years, but it obviously wasn't enough because every time these people showed up, I would make it very clear that I understood what was going on. And that obviously wasn't a very smart move. I should have just pretended like I noticed nothing, and I probably would have gotten a lot less attention. Where am I going with this? Yeah, so after that dweller on the threshold experience with the guy in the car on the crossroads, things got dark. And that's when I started to put a lot of pieces together about my family. My grandfather's father, Donovan's father, is a Freemason. And on my grandmother's side, so that's Donovan's wife, the family worked for the Queen. And if there's anything I've learned in the last 10 years is that you don't have people like that in your family without some kind of weird trouble going on, Help me out here. Where am I going with this?
You were just saying, you were talking briefly about your great grandmother.
Yeah. Yeah.
Donovan's parents.
Yeah, so I started to put a lot of pieces together about my family and things like that. And I started to put together some memories that I had as a child in Los Angeles. I lived in Laurel Canyon. If you guys are conspiracy guys, you should know about Laurel Canyon, right?
Very familiar, yeah.
Okay, so I lived in Laurel Canyon for a while when I was 6 years old, and I have some strange memories. I was only in Los Angeles for about a year and a half, maybe. And I always thought that these memories must have been something that I made up or something that I watched in a movie because they're like impossible things. They don't make any sense. But once you learn about monarch programming and stuff like that, they all start to make a lot of sense. So there was obviously, I've never spoken about this stuff openly before. And every time I have attempted to, I've been really unable to speak, Yeah. You get shaky. I'm actually like shaking right now, but I'm doing pretty well, which is really annoying for me because I'm a very honest and open person. So
This
Go
is
on.
tough stuff to talk about.
I'm used to talking about tough stuff, man.
I get it.
My mother, she's like borderline alcoholic. And she's been just talking about tough stuff since I was born. So I'm used to talking about tough stuff and being surrounded by tough stuff. You know, I had the Slim Shady LP when I was like 8 years old.
I did too.
You know, I'm fine with tough stuff, but this is another level of like, I shouldn't be talking about this stuff. You know, I shouldn't be saying this stuff, but that's kind of the point. Half the stuff that they put you through is to get you to not talk about this stuff. That's why there's not a lot of people out there sharing their experience. Because this network, it is a network. It's a network, as I said, of criminals, of cults, politicians, military, churches, schools, pedophiles. It's a huge network of people doing favors for each other. So there's a lot of people involved that you wouldn't even think would be involved, you know, like postmen and the police officers and just people in your local village are involved in this stuff. And a lot of them are afraid. A lot of them want to talk about it, but we're all too afraid to talk about it. So where was I? I was talking about Monarch. You guys know about Monarch.
I was familiar with Laurel Canyon, not Monarch.
Laurel Canyon.
So the MK Ultra is part of the Monarch program.
Okay, that
right?
I'm familiar with. Yeah,
There's a lot of other things to it, but like I know you're familiar with MK Ultra, and like that's under the umbrella of Monarch, from what I understand.
Right. So MK Ultra came first. Monarch came second. Monarch is a type of trauma-based mind control where it's supposed to be an undetectable kind of mind control, where they do it on these people. And a lot of the celebrities that you see today are all Monarch children. So they basically put them through various traumas when they're very young and split their mind. And it's not necessarily about creating split personalities. If you can achieve that, great for them. It's not necessarily about that. It's more about dissociative capacities and how that can be useful for them. So with Monarch programming, there's various themes. So you've got like Alice in Wonderland and Wizard of Oz and stuff like this. And this is all, you can Google this. It's all very, well, it used to be. Google has become quite useless in the last few years.
agreed.
So I went through the Wizard of Oz.
Lowe's knows that no matter your paint project, saving is at the top of your list. That's why when you shop today, you can buy one, get one free. Select Valspar and HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams. One coat coverage interior paints via rebate. Shop these deals in-store or online today at Lowe's. We help, you save. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. Offer valid 8/21 through 9/3.
This episode is sponsored by Friskies, who would like to tell your cats hi. Now, if that didn't get your cat's attention, there is one thing that always does the trick. Just pour some Friskies crunchy food in the bowl and you'll hear those paws come running. Works every time. With so many Friskies choices, you can always bring your cats running from their secret napping spots. There's always more to explore. See for yourself at friskies.com or visit your local store.
Jif peanut butter. It's that jiffing good, it doesn't really need advertising. So instead, enjoy the calming sounds of the ocean. Jif. Ooh, it's that jiffing good. Get your Jif at jif.com.
Monarch programming, where I can only imagine I was kidnapped as a child and given drugs and put through various strange situations in Laurel Canyon specifically, there is a house which Jared Leto bought and has recently sold, which had a bunker underneath where the CIA used to film secret propaganda movies. And this is just something that's out in the open, but they have a lot of these facilities where they have secret, like places to do film sets, and they have all of these props and they set up all of these things, and then they put children on drugs, and then they traumatize them, and then they send them into these rooms with all of these strange and surreal things around, and fuck with their head, basically. And I'm not supposed to remember any of these things.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to have any memory of these things. I'm not supposed to know any of the things that I know, because people like me, we are not supposed to be brought into the inner circle. We're supposed to be just used and manipulated and kept ignorant of what's actually going on. That's why it upsets me when you get all of these YouTubers and stuff, saying that, I don't know, Sabrina Carpenter is the devil, and, Lady Gaga is the devil, and these people are terrible, Satan worshipping. It's like, no, they're probably not. They're probably just traumatized children under mind control. So, where am I going with this? It's already 46 minutes. And I haven't gotten.
Well, I just want to say, 100% believable. By the way, 100%.
This stuff, yeah, this stuff is believable because you've got the MK Ultra history, and we know what the government's capable of, and all of that stuff. But the unbelievables. Go on.
I apologize. When you said the fear-based mind control, that rings a bell. I just didn't connect the Project Monarch with it.
Trauma-based mind control.
Sorry, trauma-based. Totally. I want to say that was that even part of Project Paperclip, Jeff? Do you remember? Wasn't that brought over with Nazi scientists?
Some of those scientists were the guys who developed the techniques. I forget the specific guy's name, but yeah, one of those paperclip scientists was part of the group who came up with the techniques for doing all of the trauma-based mind control stuff. Yeah.
I want to say that's got some really deep roots.
Yep.
Yeah. And so the trauma-based mind control stuff, what they do on their targets and their victims, all of this stuff is eventually used on the globe, on the population, on the whole population. Like the lockdowns, for example, it's all trauma-based mind control. Lock someone in a room, flash fear-based imaging in their face 24/7 constantly, and drug them. That's trauma-based mind control. So what they did to me and what they've done to many other people within the system, they've pretty much did to everybody on a global scale during the lockdown. So, there's the esoteric and the exoteric, right? So you've got the microcosm and the macrocosm. You've got the up close and personal stuff, like my personal experiences. And then these people on the political side, or not so the political side, on the geopolitical side, that are kind of like controlling world events. They're using all of this information and all of these things that they've done on their own family members on the rest of the world. So yeah,
that's
interesting.
Yeah, I've been saying this the whole time, man. Like, there's so much, not just like the isolation part of it, but like, the 6 feet spacing, right? Like, that's part of it. In some of these rituals or whatever you want to call them, right? Like wearing masks and standing 6 feet apart and like all that, like all of that is like symbolic. Not just symbolic, but like they were actually doing these things to us without us really knowing.
Those are all designed off of their knowledge of trauma-based mind control. So the mask thing, it's about dissociation. It's about disconnecting from the people around you. And you can see that the world today is that everyone is deeply traumatized. People have forgotten how to socialize. People have forgotten how to work. You know, can't find a fucking plumber anymore. No one knows what the fuck they're doing anymore. No one wants to work. Everyone's a bit of a mess. So yeah, I went through all of that stuff. But the real unbelievable stuff, which I was mentioning to you in private before the show, the unbelievable stuff is the magic. Not everyone's going to believe that magic is real, and that's perfectly fine. You know, you can understand that the elites, you know, they believe in the magic, and they're doing all this weird, creepy, sick stuff. But that's why I've got all these notes around me, because I'd like to explain how the magic works and what they put their initiates through, like all of these celebrities that people say have sold their soul to the devil. And all of I'm sure you guys are aware of all the stories, you know, like Kanye, Kanye West and Lady Gaga and all of these people who sold their souls, and all of the people who were ritually sacrificed, and how their family members were ritually sacrificed. You know, like Kanye, for example, his mother, I think, died, and people say that he ritually sacrificed her.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
Yeah.
These people don't just come in and are like, I'm going to initiate myself and I'm going to do all the things that they want me to do. No, they do it without your permission. They do it without your permission. They do it to you and around you without telling you. They come at you from a symbolic and a psychic and astral point of view, where they start to manipulate the world around you so that something deeper inside of you accepts what's happening. And I know, because I've experienced it myself. They put me through this whole thing. So I'm going to read something to you guys to give a basic understanding of how the magic works, right? That's what I really want to explain. And if you guys have any questions about Monarch, specific things that I was put through, memories that I have, you can ask me. Don't worry about that.
Monarch questions are good. We could do that. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, because there's so much just there, right?
Yeah.
I could probably ask you a million questions and have 10 conversations about that. So, you know, depending on like how long we go tonight, I don't know if it's something that you'd be up to, but maybe we do like another one of these at some point where we can get into like that specifically, because that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That is a whole nother separate episode.
Yeah.
There is a lot. That's why I was trying to prepare and getting all my notes, because I had to decide what I'm going to say, what I'm not going to say. What do I want to achieve with this? And I have a lot of interesting, cool, horrific stuff to share. But what I really want to achieve, I think, is helping people understand how the magic works, what it's for, because there's a lot of vagueness surrounding it. You know the Astro World incident with that rapper where one guy died and people got crushed, and there was all this frequency stuff going on. Like everyone was talking about
Travis Scott.
Scott. Everyone was talking about that, right? And they're all very vague about, you know, it's a sacrifice, but what is actually going on there? What are they gaining from that? What kind of magic is being used? What kind of military technology is being used? Because it's obviously both. It's both military technology and occult stuff going on. It's literally astro world, which is astral world, which is where all of the manipulation goes on, is in the astral dimension. And I'll explain why. So the point is, I want people to have more understanding and more information on how all of that stuff works, rather than just going, oh, they're devil worshippers and, you know, there's rituals going on. It's like, what is actually going on? Right? So let's say there are several dimensions that are all existing on top of each other all the time.
Yep.
And the human being has several bodies. We have the physical body, we have the etheric body, we have the astral body, the mental body, the lower mental body, and the higher mental body. And then we have the causal body, which is the ego, which is the higher self.
Yep.
And then you have another spiritual body, which is like the furthest thing from us, which is the closest thing to God or the source or whatever the fuck you want to call it. So the etheric body, it's like a protoplasmic thing that's very much connected to the physical body. The etheric body, also called the life body or energy body, provides life force and a vibrational blueprint for the physical body. The astral body, on the other hand, also known as the emotional body, is the seat of emotions, desires, and feelings. It's also called the desire body, and it's used within astral projection. Now, it's a luminous fluid, a shape-shifting form that carries emotional impressions. It's active during dreams, meditation, astral projection, blah, 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 blah. I have this book here, and I'm going to give sort of brief description, because for you to understand the magic, and we'll go into the magic in a little bit, you got to understand what dimension the magic is happening on. Is that all right with you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
So briefly, the astral body of man is a vehicle to clairvoyant sight, not unlike the physical body, surrounded by an aura of flashing colors, composed of matter of an order of fineness higher than that of physical matter, in which feelings, passions, desires, and emotions are expressed, and which acts as a bridge or a medium of transmission between the physical brain and the mind. The mind is part of the mental body, which is more closer to the soul, the latter operating in the still higher vehicle, the mind body. While every man possesses and uses an astral body, comparatively few are conscious of its existence or can control and function in it in full consciousness. In the case of large numbers of persons, it is scarcely more than an inchoate mass of astral matter, the movements and activities of which are little under the control of the man himself, the ego, which is the true man. With others, however, the astral body is a well-developed and thoroughly organized vehicle possessing a life of its own and conferring on its owner many useful powers. During the sleep of the physical body, an undeveloped man leads a dreamy, vague existence in his relatively primitive astral body, remembering little or nothing. In
What's
the
the
case
name
of
of
a
that book?
developed, this is Astral Body and Other Astral Phenomenon by Arthur E. Powell. It was published in 1920 something. In the case of a developed man, however, the life in the astral body, whilst the physical body is wrapped in slumber, is active, interesting, and useful, and the memory of it may, under certain conditions, be brought down into the physical brain. The life of such a man ceases to be a series of days of consciousness and nights of oblivion, becoming instead a continuous life of unbroken consciousness, alternating between the physical and the astral planes or worlds. One of the first things a man learns to do in his astral body is to travel in it, being possible for the astral body to move with great rapidity and to great distances from the sleeping physical body. An understanding of this phenomenon throws much light on a large number of so-called occult phenomena, such as apparitions. The astral body being par excellence the vehicle of feelings and emotions, an understanding of its composition and of the ways in which it operates is of considerable value in understanding blah, 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 blah. And this is all very important because the astral body being the body of desire and emotion, meaning that within the astral realm, our emotions and our desires have a huge effect on it. also our mind body and our mental matter, because the mental. Sorry, my dog is having a dream.
Sorry, we're pet friendly.
Where was I? Right.
You said the book was The Astral Body and Other Astral Phenomena by A.E. Powell?
Yes.
All right, I just bought it.
Good. The astral body is veritably a bridge between our physical and our mental life, serving as a transmitter of vibrations both from physical to mental and from mental to physical, and is in fact principally developed by this constant passage of vibrations to and fro. And when a man goes to sleep, his ego withdraws further within himself and leaves his various bodies more free than usual to go their own way. These separate bodies are much more susceptible of impressions from without than at other times and have a very rudimentary consciousness of their own. Consequently, there is ample reason for the production of dreams as well as for confused recollections. There was one more important bit here. The astral body is at times susceptible to the influences of passing thought currents, and when the mind is not actively controlling it, it is perpetually receiving these stimuli from without and eagerly responding to them. During sleep, it is even more readily influenced. So there's something called thought forms, which I completely forgot to make notes on. I'll just go off memory. So the thought forms, as we're walking down the street through the day, we're thinking, we have this sort of bubble around us, and the thought forms are kind of coming out. And the things that we're thinking about and we're imagining kind of create. So everything has a sort of kind of matter. Our thoughts, our feelings are all existing on different dimensions and levels of consciousness. So thought forms, you create them and you can pass them on to other people, and you can pick up on other people's thought forms. And this is something that happens to us every day as we're walking down the street. You might feel suddenly something or think suddenly of something, and that's because someone has passed you. And that's just kind of how it naturally works, if you believe in this stuff. So obviously with magic, you can utilize these laws of these interdimensional realms. And so a magician, what they'll do is they'll sit and they will obviously take many years to master their astral body, leaving their body astrally or etherically even, or just doing astral projection, or what's called remote viewing, where you just sit there and with your mind you travel. So these magicians and occultists, there's various levels of them, trained to do these things. And so when you want to manipulate someone or lead someone who is, everyone is susceptible to psychic information, but some people more than others. I think I'm doing all right.
I think you do great.
Good. So where was I going with this? Trying to describe how
you were getting into. Yep, go ahead.
Gave a brief description on astral body, astral realm, thought forms. So that gives you an idea of how the magic will work.
Yep.
When we do a follow-up video, which I would like to after I do, I might do an interview with a very big podcast in the next couple of weeks, and I'll come back and hopefully with more information and well rested. We can go into.
Are you a forward thinker? Then you need an HR and finance platform that thinks like you do. Workday is the AI platform that helps propel your organization, your workforce, and your industry into the future. Workday, moving business forever forward.
As a contractor, I don't pay for materials I don't use. So why would I pay for stuff I don't need in my mobile plan? That's why the new MyBiz plan from Verizon Business is so perfect. Now I can choose exactly what I want, and I only pay for what I need.
Right now, with MyBiz plan, get our best price, as low as $25 a line. Visit verizon.com/business to get started today. New lines only. Price per month with 5+ lines. Includes auto pay and paper-free billing and promotional discount. Taxes, fees, economic adjustment charge. Applicable add-ons, prices, and terms apply. Guarantee applies to base monthly rate and stated discounts only. Add-on prices additional. Offers end September 30th, 2025.
At Talos, we know cybersecurity can be tough and you can't protect everything, but with Talos, you can secure what matters most. With Talos industry-leading platforms, you can protect critical applications, data, and identities, anywhere and at scale with the highest ROI. That's why the most trusted brands and largest banks, retailers, and healthcare companies in the world rely on Talos to protect what matters most. Applications, data, and identities. That's Talos, T-H-A-L-E-S. Learn more at talosgroup.com/cyber.
More detail about all of that, because I would really like to, how the astral worlds work and the various dimensions that we're existing on.
The chat is saying you're doing great, by the way.
I appreciate that. Fuck, I am exhausted.
You know, this is all stuff too, because like there's people who, when they hear these things, like they're like, oh, that's woo, right? That's too woo. That's crazy. Like that's not real. Of course, there's those people out there.
Yeah, it's fine.
So, and me and Jeremy and our other co-hosts, our prior co-hosts, we've talked about this type of stuff before in a slightly different context. So just for anybody who might be watching or listening who thinks this is woo, I just want to remind you guys that we did go over the gateway process. So if you want to get into a more analytical version of this, right? Here, I'll just share. I got it pulled up right here real quick. But just as a reminder, the United States government, let me go up to page 1 here, just so you guys remember this. The analysis and assessment of gateway process, right? The Army Operational Group, right? Along with the U.S. Army Intelligence and Security Command. They went through all this, and there are published declassified documents on them doing all of this. Remote viewing, out-of-body movement, right? Literally time travel. There's look, here's the remote viewing section. And they break it down in a more like analytical, scientific way. And they explain how you can do these kinds of things using frequency technologies, right? Like binaural beats and stuff like that. So if you think this is just woo or crazy or whatever, like be reminded that it's not. This is real stuff.
And the thing is that all of this occult stuff is deeply, deeply wound up with the military stuff.
100%.
Very.
Absolutely.
And that's why I wanted to bring up the astro world thing, because 100% there was a ceremony going on. There was a deliberate, conscious, let's say, meditation going on with occultists working in the background. It's not Travis Scott. There are occultists in the background who are doing either ceremonies, rituals, but I would say more like going into a trance and going into the astral realm and working with the various beings and entities that exist within the astral realm. And I would just assume, it's a guess, I'm guessing, that during these concerts like this, they are opening people's astral bodies and etheric bodies up to the influence of various beings, entities. They could even be, so within the astral realm, you got to imagine it's populated by billions of different species, and you have elemental kind of classifications. So you might have beings that look and behave a lot like the beings that we have in the water, in the ocean, like jellyfish, or you might have beings like spiders and things like that. And each one of these beings can be taken and used and turned into a kind of astral machinery that can be attached to a person's astral body. So like they use these kind of jellyfish entities and they attach them to people's heads or spines. And these jellyfish entities act as a kind of transmitter of information. So you've got all this astral magic weirdness going on, but then you also have the military aspect, because what I'm starting to understand is that they cannot, and this is the point, they want to mind control the entire planet, basically. They cannot turn you into a mind control slave without breaking down your spiritual barriers first. So we have a number of spiritual protective layers around our body, our auric fields and stuff like that. And they can't just implant you and inject you and turn you into a mind control slave without slowly deconstructing and weakening your spiritual forces. So events like Astro World are tests to see how they can break down spiritually people in massive crowds and at the same time link them to military technology that is used for tracking and mind control. So where was I going before I got to the astral thing, astral world thing? I was talking about.
We were kind of explaining, I think, just how, or let's just say like the basics of the magic side of things, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Forgot where I was.
That's right. While you think, I also found something else that's interesting. You guys might like this. Here, let me close this ad real quick. Just take a quick back step when we were talking about Project Monarch. I found this, and I found this pretty interesting here. So, King Charles III portrait. You guys notice anything in the portrait?
This just happened.
Yeah. See that monarch butterfly right there?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Right, so the symbolism is definitely out there. It's hidden in plain sight, as always.
As always. Yes, exactly. That's what they do. And it's the revelation of the method. And it really works. And here's another interesting thing, going off a little bit, and then I'll get back onto where I was going, because I remember now. The revelation of the method thing, when you're watching movies about a dystopia, right, your brain perceives it as 100% real, right? Your brain perceives what you're watching as real, period. But then a part of you, your consciousness, is enjoying it and saying, oh, this is a great movie. I'm enjoying this. This is fun. So it's a kind of energetic manipulation to get you to go, I accept this reality and I'm happy with this reality. Right? Woken up my neighbors. It's fine. They knew that I was doing an interview at 3 a.m. I'll try and lower my voice a bit. So that's an interesting segue into the magic, because that's part of the manipulation of the mind. So, for example, let's go into it now. Let's talk about celebrities, musicians, singers, pop stars. When they bring in someone into the network, right? They initiate someone into this celebrity realm. You're going to be one of us, and you're going to work for us, and you're going to sing our propaganda and all of this stuff. They put you through this series of rituals, and they don't look like rituals. Like, I went through this situation with the guy at the crossroads, and many of these people will go through that, but they'll have no idea that they're going through that. It's speaking to the subconscious mind, and it's speaking to the spirit body, because the spirit body is the intuitive body, and the spirit body knows what's going on, but our consciousness doesn't really know what's going on. And so what they do is these magicians, and It's really hard to organize my thoughts. So I've been trying to write stuff down because there's just so many different aspects to this. It's nuts. But I want to like go into the network part really quick. How does the network work? Where do they find all of these magicians and all of these people? So even just where I live in the nearest city to me, there's a dozen different schools like Ordo Templi Orientis or Rosicrucian or even churches, you know, specific churches or the Scientologies, or there's loads of them. There's loads of these groups. And you even have like new age kind of hippie groups where people meet and hang out and stuff like that. So you've got all of these people interested in magic and interested in stuff. And they go and they join these groups, or even they think it's like a weekly fun thing that they do. And then they get brought deeper and deeper into it. And they basically give them assignments and say, we're going to teach you how to do this today, and we're going to learn how to do this. And they send them off, and they have them do psychic tests and experiments to prove to themselves that they're capable of these things. So you've got various levels of useful psychic spiritual individuals. And because it's a network, they've got their fingers in all of these different cults and groups and fraternities and brotherhoods and stuff like that. And then, of course, on the non-magical side, you have criminal network. You have like the pedophiles. And this is another very interesting thing, because we now have the internet and we have access. They have access to all of the pedophiles on the internet, all of them. So if they need someone to do some street theater or follow you or do something, break into your house, they can just go on their little network online and they'll go, oh, there's a pedophile living there. We'll go there, we'll take them, and we'll blackmail them, and they'll do whatever the fuck we want them to do, right? So you've got different types of useful people within the network. You have ones that you can blackmail, you have ones that you can fool, you have ones that you can trick, you have ones that are corruptible. So when it comes to the magic side, you've got all these different levels of people. You have the interesting, nice, beautiful, spiritual people who think they're doing something for a good cause. And then you have people who join like hardcore, like cults, like Ordo Templi Orientis, you know, which was, I think, was the Aleister Crowley thing. And that's deep into gnosis and astral travel and ritual and stuff like that. So they've got all of these useful people that through their network of favors, you know how the Freemasons work, the network of favors that they give each other, you find all of these people rather easily to carry out these magical things. So let's say we're in Los Angeles, for example, and you have a coven of witches, you know, and, you know, they have their thing, and then someone comes to them and says, I want you to do a ritual for me, and I want you to do this ritual based towards this particular person. And they'll do it. They'll do this ritual, or they'll do this meditation, and they'll do this trance towards this particular person. And this is what they do. So you have your chakra system and your energy body system. They'll start by targeting your lowest chakra, which is your sex chakra, which also ties into monarch programming, because the children are all sexually abused. So the first wound is in the sex chakra. It's in the lowest chakra, right? And this all ties in with the magic and stuff. So what they do is they will try to create an energetic wound in your lowest chakra, so that they can control you through your animal nature, your animal desire, and sex. And then slowly they'll move on up the Kundalini system, and they'll break through each one of your chakras' protective barriers. And the most important one is the heart. The heart is basically more powerful than our brain, right? It functions as a brain. It's basically its own brain. It carries its own memories. This is all new science. You can Google this stuff, that the heart carries memories, and it's basically a second brain. Like they're saying, the stomach is also another kind of brain. So the energetic field around the heart is probably the most important part. And if they can break through the energetic field in your heart and start to channel these their magic and their thoughts and the kind of manipulation towards into your heart, they can manipulate the memories of the heart. And this is something that demons do, right? A demon, or a sleep paralysis demon, which a lot of people have experience with, but they don't believe it's an actual demon. The demon shows up and it's wearing the face of your mother or your brother or your friend or a cat, right? That you know. And it's wearing this face. And that's the trick of the heart memories. So if they can get inside the heart, they can make you believe in this sort of subconscious interdimensional realm, make you believe that the manipulation and the dark magic that they're doing is coming from a place of love and familiarity. It's coming from your family and your friends, and the dreams that you're having now are about your mother murdering someone, for example. You know, like you believe that it's your mother, but it's not. It's someone else wearing the face of your mother. And then after they penetrate the heart chakra, they'll go up to the throat chakra. And this is a very important part because they like to instill demonic entities inside their targets. You know, you get like all of this conspiracy stuff about Beyonce having an alter ego or Lady Gaga having an alter ego. And like there's demonic phenomenon around. I don't know if you guys have heard any of those things. So they do. They actually put demonic entities inside or around the target. And they can only achieve this by breaking through all of the protective barriers around the chakras. And the second most important one for the control aspect is to go up through the throat and into the tongue. And the tongue is a very important thing when it comes to demonic symbolism, right? You notice a lot of the symbolism when it comes to demons. They have these tongues coming out and stuff like that. And that's a way of taking control over what you say and how you say it. And then obviously the final step is to get up into the third eye and the brain region, which means that this demonic entity or the black magic being used by the occultists have succeeded in entering in your mind. And from this point, they can really direct you and lead you anywhere they want you to go. And you'd think, you know, what's the point of doing all of this magic mind control stuff when you can just mind control people with, I don't know, technology? I guess they enjoy it. I don't know. They like doing magic. It's interesting for them. But as I said before, I think that the magic and the technology goes hand in hand together. And then while all of this is happening, when these occultists are going into their trances and meditations, leaving their astral body and focusing their energy into disintegrating your spiritual barriers, there's all this other stuff going on. For example, they'll target someone close to you in your life and they'll kill them.
That's fucking heavy shit.
Oh man, it's really fucked up.
Like I don't know if we broke out from you, but right when you said that really, really heavy part, you broke out. Now the good thing about all this is that you get recorded locally. So this will record on your side and my system will pull that off. So the audio recording will be perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it is kind of odd that we're talking about this really heavy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you broke out right at that critical moment. Very, very interesting. I wonder why. It's kind of
You know, I've always
Well,
said too, you kind of alluded to this a second ago. People always ask, like, why do they do these types of things? And I always say, because it's their beliefs, it's their religion. It's, you know, like you said, they're in a cult. There, it doesn't have to be a logical reason that any of us could figure out why they do this. Just like if somebody is like, you know, a hardcore, whatever religion you are, right? Like if
yeah.
you're a Christian or a Catholic and you believe what you believe and you do the things that you do because you have those beliefs, they operate the same way. And we don't have to understand it, but they're definitely doing it, you know?
Yeah. Well, people are driven towards meaning. They want to have a meaningful life. And then, of course, you got the aspects of power and lust and all of that. But I think it's meaning. People want to feel special and they want meaning in their life. And, you know, if you're someone who starts having psychic experiences as a young child, it's like, wow, it's exciting. You know, you start noticing all of these things and having outer body experiences and stuff like that. And so you go in that direction because it's fascinating. It is absolutely fascinating. And the darker stuff is way more interesting than the lighter stuff, you know?
Yeah, that's man. I'll tell you, I don't get into my personal feelings on a lot of things in this.
Are your business expenses playing hide and seek? With Uber for Business, the small spends that slip through the cracks, like rides and meals, go right where you need them. Because it integrates with leading expense platforms, you can say goodbye to surprise costs, missing dollars, or chasing receipts. Everything's track downable. Uber for Business. Make small steps that make a big impact. Learn more at uber.com/small steps.
Everyone who works at Starbucks, full or part-time, gets stock in our company, simply for being part of our company. That's why we call our employees partners, because when Starbucks succeeds, our people do too. And that success turns into down payments, family vacations, and so much more. At Starbucks, benefits like company stock are just the start. Learn more about how we support partners at starbucks.com/partners.
Hey, this is Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast, here to help you make the most of your summer with Michelob Ultra, a superior light beer worth playing for. Play for it with the guys when you're competing to see who can sink more birdies on the golf course, because winning tastes even better with Ultra on the line. Play for Ultra. Fill your fridge with Michelob Ultra this summer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Optimism isn't sunshine and rainbows. It's fixing things, changing the way we fix things. Rolled up sleeves, breaking through, growing power to meet growing needs, working to run the world on smarter energy every day, taking power where the grid's never been, then getting up and doing it again. Because if optimism never stops, then change can't either. GE Vernova, the energy of change.
Podcast. I tend to try to stay away from like my personal beliefs, especially on like the side of politics and such, right? But one thing that I'll never shy away from is my feelings against pedophilia. It is just I have 4 kids, and it's just something that doesn't sit well with me. And you know, I've had a multitude of guests on here, and we've talked about chakras, we've talked about the astral body, we've talked about all kinds of stuff. This is the first time that we've really dove into warfare on that level and manipulation on that level, and talking about the levels of chakra and attacking the lowest level being sex, and attacking these children in their lowest level and hitting them to where you can control them utilizing that method of warfare. It's disgusting is what it is. It's
the worst part is just like what she was talking about earlier, like how they did this on the masses with like COVID and stuff. Like they do that. Like you can look at just the explosion of like pornography and those types of things, like all of that stuff is being weaponized against all of us at this point using the technology, right? Like, you know, if you went back 50 years ago, it was like a case by case or a person by person situation. Some of the music and stuff like that was helping, but now like we're all carrying around. What's interesting is the little black cubes that we all stare into that, you know, with that, like they're attacking all those levels that she's talking about. And we just, we accept it.
And and it's a fucking onslaught 24/7.
Yeah.
It's difficult to contend with this technology and the purpose of the technology and why it was developed is, you know, to control the human race. But then also as a mystic, I accept that all of this is part of humanity's growth and learning. And that might sound like a horrible thing, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, this technology is here and it's being created in a bad way. My mentor, sort of a Neoplatonist kind of guy, he told me that from every good comes a good, and from every evil eventually comes a good, because the universe comes from good and put out itself to go out into the universe to experience itself and then come back to the good. So everything that came out into existence is now on a return journey towards the good. So let's say in the law of physics, in that perspective, everything has to return to the good. So all of the evil things that have happened in the world in some way or another produced something that was useful for humanity. So, for example, technology is being used in horrific ways, but it has also connected us and taught us so much. And that's the thing about being in this physical realm. We experience these polarities. We experience separateness and good and evil. That's the point. That's why we're here. But yeah, the pedophile stuff is something. I've seen these children. I don't know if they did this to me on purpose. I feel like a lot of the programming they put people through, targets through, they surround them with certain situations to desensitize them to these situations. Like, for example, I don't know, you go and join a commune with your hippie friends, and they slowly desensitize you to being surrounded by a bunch of fucking perverts so that you're not capable of discerning or intuiting whether you're surrounded by perverts or not. But I have seen a lot of these children involved in the network, and I have called the police a couple of times, but I just get frozen in fear, and I don't know what to do in these situations. But I've seen it, and that's an area that I don't really want to talk about, because we can talk about magic, and you know, maybe 200 years ago someone would kill me for that. Not anymore. The only thing that will get you dead these days is if you talk about that stuff. And I'm more useful alive than I am dead. So
for sure. The plus side is, from at least from my perspective, I think a lot of that stuff is it's being corrected. It's out in the zeitgeist now, like you said, with the technology. Like a lot of people are talking about this kind of thing, and like, I mean, you have like all these movements now, right? Like Save the Children and everything. So like I do think that they're, like you said, like things are kind of tracking back the way that they should. Who knows how long that takes? Maybe it takes 1,000 years. I don't know, but like it's definitely moving back that way, I think, just with the amount of people that are aware of these types of things, right? Everybody's up in arms because where's the Epstein list? You know, it's like, that wasn't a thing not too long ago. So
I think the whole Epstein thing has always been a distraction. The whole Weinstein thing has always been a distraction, because these are the things that they do were horrible, but they don't pale in comparison to the really horrible stuff.
I was going to say that it's
agreed,
man.
but the concepts are out there, right? Like regular people are thinking about these kinds of things, maybe not as deeply as we're talking about now, but it's in the mainstream zeitgeist now. Like
It is,
people
yes, it
are
is. It
thinking,
is.
so.
People are thinking about it. And this is what I want to do. Rather than trying to expose that aspect of the criminal network, which will do nothing but get me dead, I can give some pieces of advice on how to protect children and how to spot this type of activity. Because they'll focus themselves in certain towns, where there'll be this network where they basically use the town as a place to harvest. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Says I'm reconnecting. Whatever.
I can hear you just fine.
It's the feds again.
Right.
It's the fucking feds.
This is the stuff I don't want to talk about, but
And this is the stuff they don't want you to talk about either.
Yeah. I'll just say a few small things. They'll use certain towns as places for harvesting and creating abusable children. And these are not always like disposable children, but children within families, and the families have no idea that their children are being targeted. You want to watch out for what kind of graffiti is around that town or that village. What kind of sculptures do they have in the square? Are they sculptures like with monarch symbolism, like rainbows or butterflies? Or are there images where people are missing their heads or covering their eye or things like that? The graffiti, or even not just graffiti, but also in the symbolism like sculptures and stuff, is there a spiral? If there's a lot of spirals around, something weird is going on. If there's spiral graffitis or spiral sculptures, especially if it's a blue spiral, these are known CIA or was it FBI pedophile symbols as the spirals. And they use these symbols. Really, you can spot them in certain places. They use them to let people know this is a place where this stuff is happening. So you want to keep an eye out for that kind of stuff, and you want to go to the squares, and you want to sit down on the bench, and you want to observe how people are interacting with their children. So how it works is they'll target multiple children and they'll groom them by slowly touching them in inappropriate ways right in front of their parents, but behind their back in a way. Like, for example, if a child is here and the groomer is next to them and the parent is in front, the groomer will put their hand behind the child and slip their hand down and touch them inappropriately right in front of them. And nobody notices these things because we think we trust. People are normal. The world is normal. We can't possibly be looking for stuff like that all the time. Well, I do because I've seen a lot of it. So I notice it. I notice it every single fucking time. I notice it a lot. So you want to always watch where people's hands are going. Even if you don't have children, go to your square, pay attention. If you notice that one guy is lifting up the child that they're playing with, that they're related to or friends of the parents of, and they're turning the child upside down so they can have a peek inside their skirt, and the father is over there watching and doing nothing about it, maybe something strange is going on in this town or village. So I think that the best way that we can protect and expose is by learning how groomers and networks target children. So, yeah, I think that's all I'll say on that aspect.
Man, I'll tell you, this is definitely this is definitely a milestone for this show. I'll tell you, this is
I'm sorry.
No. This is I'm beyond honored, honestly. Beyond. This is a tough subject. But
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say, but I'm beyond myself that I had the opportunity to interview you.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, if you're up for it, I would like to have another conversation. You know, we can go like further, down different roads or whatever. We don't have to keep talking about this stuff. This stuff is pretty dark, but
yeah.
I would like to do like a follow up just to go more
Project Monarch and stuff.
Yeah, Monarch. Learn more about the magic and the symbolism and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what we need to do, Jeff? We need to get CJ on here. So CJ is one of our old co-hosts. The way that this show was built is that, well, we've had this rotational cast.
Yeah, I saw.
And CJ was our occult magic guy, and he'd be right on par with everything you're saying.
I got so much more to say about that. I'm just because I'm so tired and I'm not really well prepared.
Well, maybe
I haven't gone into half of.
Maybe we can set up a special day and time.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to doing it like earlier for us so that it's not so late for you one day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I have to get up early for work. So like literally if I go to bed right now, I'm going to get not enough sleep. You know what I mean? So I don't want to be in the same boat as you tomorrow at work. So, but yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to like trying to do something earlier just so that we're all like fresh and have time and, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can sleep.
But you, Coco, we'll talk more about that possibility. The invite's out there. If you want to come back, the answer is yes.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
You are more than welcome, and we'll work this out so that it's at a friendlier time for you. We'll get CJ here so that he can kind of be on the same level as you, right?
Yeah.
Because you're very intelligent in everything that you're saying right now, and it's very impressive.
I appreciate that.
I know that you said you did a lot of studying and a lot of prep work for this, and honestly, I'm surprised that you had to because it's coming off very, very fluently, and you're doing great.
I appreciate that. I wanted to make it rather structured so that I wouldn't go off on loads of different tangents because there's so many things that I could talk about. But it's been kind of hard to do that this time around, especially with being a bit late and a bit of a chaos and stuff. So I didn't have it as a structured direction as I wanted to go in with the magic. But all of the stuff that I spoke about were things that I gave myself permission to speak about. So I didn't go off too much on a tangent.
Like I said earlier, in my experience, when you're doing a podcast, like the more fluid it is, usually the better it comes off, right? And now that you've kind of at least gotten over like the basics and like we know what you're about and like the topics and stuff like that, the next time around we can come in and like dial in and go through like a structured thing. It'll probably be easier to do it that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Did you have anything else that you wanted to say tonight?
Well, yeah, there was so many things that even certain things that I was
Jeff, did you need to go, bud?
Yeah, but I got a couple minutes. I'm not like gonna hang up on you guys,
right.
But
no, go ahead, Coco. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Yeah, it was more about how the magic works and how they're doing it and stuff. And I think that I was way more vague than I would have liked to have been. But if you guys think this was a really good, solid foundation of information, that's I'm happy with that.
Hey,
I'm happy with that.
Like I said, if you want to come back on and dive deeper into it, you're more than welcome to. Absolutely.
Because the magic aspect and then the network aspect of how they get various people who are interested in magic and practicing magic, and then use those people to go through various stages of initiation. There's so much there, like so many interesting things. Like the thing about signing the contract, like signing your name over to the devil or whatever. So they do this with these celebrities and these various people, but they do it through dreams. So you'll have the magician who's like an astral worker, an astral traveler. And within this astral realm, because it's a realm that's hugely influenced by your imagination and your desires and your thoughts, you can create anything that you want. So they create these sort of castles and these houses and these buildings, and then they sort of bring in the target's consciousness into this castle that they've created, this building that they've created in the astral realm, so that they are trapping a part of your consciousness there. And then what they'll do is they'll go inside your consciousness and they'll start to build a whole new structure within your consciousness. So if you have your regular dreams, forget about it. They're going to completely blow that apart. And what they'll do is they'll come in eventually, and they'll come in with a piece of paper in your dreams, and they'll ask you to sign your name on this piece of paper. And they'll keep doing that and keep doing that, and they'll keep doing that, and they'll keep making your dreams more and more confusing and incoherent to be able to trick you into signing yourself over to them. And this is something that I really want people to understand, that so many of these celebrities that people think are devil worshippers that sold their soul, they had no fucking idea. They had no fucking idea. On a certain level, on some level, they had an idea. And don't get me wrong, some of them do.
Yeah.
Some of them know exactly what they're doing and doing horrible things. But even though some of the ones that kind of know what's going on, like, who's that new Doja Cat chick? She gives the impression that she kind of knows what's going on, but believe me, she doesn't know everything.
I know
not even close.
This much about movies, and I know even less than that about pop music.
Right. So Doja Cat is a new pop singer.
Yeah.
She's a black woman. She's got shaved head. And she's done a lot of music videos with like seriously demonic stuff going on, like outer body, sleep paralysis demons, and all of this creepy, like so obvious, so
really?
so clear. Yes. And then of course, years ago, you had Katy Perry doing that song about Jeffrey Dahmer and
oh yeah,
the pyramids. What was it? Make me your Aphrodite. I knew you were.
Yeah. Again, I've heard it.
Make me your enemy.
I've heard it. Can't tell you what it is.
You know, like a lot of these artists too, they say, and this happens to me, right? Like when I'm writing music, you know, you get into a flow state, your brain goes into those theta brain state where people say like the information just comes to me, right? So I think what you're saying is right. Like a lot of these people, they sell themselves.
Adobe Acrobat Studio, so brand new. Show me all the things PDFs can do. Do your work with ease and speed. PDF Spaces is all you need. Do hours of research in an instant with key insights from an AI assistant. Pick a template with a click. Now your prezzo looks super slick. Close that deal? Yeah, you won. Do that, doing that, did that, done. Now you can do that with Acrobat. Now you can do that with the all-new Acrobat. It's time to do your best work with the all-new Adobe Acrobat Studio.
It's back to school season, and Clorox is donating 2 million disinfecting wipes to classrooms across America. Because back to school means things can get a little bit messy. Just ask kindergarten teacher Miss Gibson.
Give me just one Clorox wipe and I'm ready for glitter glue, exploded lunchbox yogurt, peanut butter handprints, runny noses, picking noses, rubbing noses.
Touching noses.
Thank you, Edward. Ooh, nap mats and lockers and tissue boxes. And
Clorox
scissors.
disinfecting wipes. Teacher's #1 wipe. Clean feels good. Based on unit sales data.
You're tuned into Auto Intelligence, live from Auto Trader, where data, tools, and your preferences sync to make your car shopping smooth.
They're searching inventory.
Oh, yeah.
They find what you need.
They gon' find
and
it.
You can make a budget for your wallet to help you succeed. Pricing's precise and true.
So true.
It's smarter car shopping.
Ooh.
Just for you.
Oh, it's just for you. Find your next ride at autotrader.com. Powered by Auto Intelligence.
Learning through play starts with Lego Duplo. With Lego Duplo, toddlers can develop real-life skills while having fun with colorful bricks made just for them. Large, easy to grip, and safe to explore. When children express themselves with Lego Duplo, they build patience, problem-solving, and empathy. See your child learn perseverance and self-expression with everything they imagine and create. Visit lego.com/preschool to learn more.
Subconsciously, if you will, they don't even realize that they've done so. Then when their brain goes into that theta state and they're in that flow state and the information comes to them, it's that, right? So like she may have wrote those lyrics without even really putting much weight behind them, but that information was coming through subconsciously because she had signed the contract subconsciously. Right?
Yeah, it goes into the idea of mediumship, you know, when you pick up on a spirit and you start translating for the spirit. Stuff like that. But all true occultists know that mediumship is a condition. It's an illness. It's not a superpower. It's not a psychic ability. It's an illness. You're not supposed to give up your body to another entity or another being to speak through you. And that's kind of what's happening there.
Apparently, this is Doja Cat.
That is Doja Cat.
That doesn't look.
Well, listen, man, the black and red is more symbolism, right? There's a lot, dude. There's so much, man. Like I never really got into the pop culture side of all the symbols and stuff like that. I mean, it's always been in my peripheral, but I know enough to know it when I see it, right? Like you were talking about with the black and white checkered floors and stuff. Like, you know, like I know enough when I see it. I'm like, you know, you could ask Crystal. I pointed out sometimes we're driving around and I'm like, that's an occult symbol right there. And she's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I don't know. I just know that that's one of the symbols, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you much about pop culture, but folk culture, like Donovan, I could tell you all about it because my dad raised me in it.
Well, the interesting thing about my grandfather is that, you know, he was used during the 60s psychedelic revolution, and he was talking about the soul and past lives and reincarnation and love and all of this mysticism and stuff. And then once the CIA was done with their little psychedelic revolution experiment, they had no interest or use for Donovan anymore. So they kind of kept him kind of distance.
Yeah, that would have been in the 70s, right? Because that's when
60s.
The 60s.
Well, I mean, he fell out around like 69, 70. So that's when it became all about rock and roll, you know, and no longer about the soul and mysticism.
That's sex, drugs, and rock and roll,
And
right?
that's exactly when the intel agencies started picking up on all this stuff, right? Because if you go back to that gateway process, that document was released in 1984, and in there it says that over the last 20 years they had been, you know, researching all these things, which puts it right in the mid 60s. So,
man, that's fucking wild. That's wild. If you line up the you know what the governments are studying and the programs that they're running, and you line it up with pop culture at the time.
Yep.
Holy
the timelines are like perfect. Like boom, like she said, once the intel agencies and stuff kind of figured out how it all worked or their versions of it, I guess, I don't really know, but once they picked up on it to a certain level, they didn't need, like she said, all of the artists from the late 50s and the early 60s that were like doing this, you know, like they were on that occult side of things. They were doing this stuff, you know, more magically, if you will. And then the intel agencies were like, hey, we could do this like systematically. And they picked it up from there.
Oh, shit. Oh man. This episode could go another 3 hours right now. We're not going to do that, but
that's what I'm saying, man. Where there's so much more, dude. Like, we can't just like hang this up and be like, okay, nice talking to you. Like later, like no, we have to. Like,
yeah.
No.
Oh, man, yeah, because we could get into all kinds of shit right now. Oh man,
it's an infinite rabbit hole.
It is. Hey, she said it. All right. What do you think, Coco? We're good?
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right.
Yeah.
Jeff, you got anything else, Ben?
No, I'm excited to do another one. I wish I didn't have to get up and go to work like every other slave in the world tomorrow, but
not
what
this
are you gonna do? You got to
one.
make that fake money to pay those bills. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just the way it is. So yeah, if you guys, you guys will have time to go over some of the things that I've said that I could have gone into more detail, and you can ask me questions, and
I've got
follow
so
up
many things to look up. I made a list of things.
Oh, that's great. That's good.
And I bought a book. So
yeah.
But
if you really want to know how the magic works without me going into my ridiculous way of explaining things, this is everything right here.
Franz Bardon,
Initiation into Hermetics. That will teach you how to become a magician. 100%.
Hermeticism and Gnosticism, like if you get into that, dude, like that's a whole rabbit hole in itself, man.
This is the only published work that explains in the most simple, straightforward terms practical exercises to become a magician. It's the only thing, only one.
I like books. I don't know if you can tell, but I like them.
Yeah.
This is only one library. I have another one upstairs.
Another interesting one, if you're interested in symbolism, is the Sacred Tarot by C.C. Zane. So
the Sacred Tarot.
Every tarot card goes into, just go to real quick. You've got the astrological side, the numerological side, the Masonic side, the biblical side, the alchemical side, and the initiation side, the magic side, and is there one more? Occult science. And it gives you all of the different explanations because the tarot is basically the key to all occult symbolism. It's not some stupid deck of cards that you read the future. It's actually way more important than that. So,
oh yeah,
there's another book for your library.
Cool. Yep. I appreciate that.
I got a tarot deck, and I've only ever looked at the cards for the symbolism. I've never used them. It's just yeah.
Coco, why don't you share with everybody? This is usually the time of the episode where I let my guests share anything that they have going on. I know you're an artist. I don't know what kind of public life you have, persona you might have.
Yeah, plug your shit,
Yeah, plug it all.
I'm starting a podcast called Tracing the Circle, where I'll be talking about magic and occultism and all of that good stuff, going into as much detail as I possibly can with a lot of very interesting sources and books and magazines from the past. So the right now I've got a YouTube page up and an Instagram page up, which is under Tracing the Circle Coco Sianne Ryder. But I haven't got any episodes up yet. I'm preparing them right now.
Perfect.
So it'll be out soon in a couple of weeks.
I think this.
And my art, I've decided I'm not going to become a professional artist because I don't want to be used in that way by the systems that utilize artists, if you know what I mean. So
yeah.
My art will always be just a gift. I give it to people. I'm not going to sell it in any way, shape, or form. So
that's awesome. And you do that with your grandfather too, don't you?
Yeah. We've done a few things together.
That's beautiful. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. We'll talk more about him next time.
Yes, please. My dad would love that. He'll love that.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, do you have anything else to plug?
No, I don't think so.
Do you want to talk about the other podcasts that you're going on? You're more than welcome to.
Buy this camera. No, I don't know. No, I don't have anything else.
Okay.
I think of right now.
All righty. Well, Coco, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you. Again, honored to have you here. I don't know. Well, I do know how I got this lucky, but again, thank you. This was just lucky to have it. Honestly, this is amazing. You're welcome back, 100%.
Thanks.
We will adjust our schedule next time. We're not going to put you through hell. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Sorry.
It was worth it. It was worth it.
Well, I really do appreciate you. And
thank you guys.
Thank
you very much.
Once we cut off live, if you can just hang out for just a minute, that way I can load your audio. It usually only takes about 2 to 3 minutes, and that's about it. Okay.
I'm gonna have to run and go get the charger. Hold on a second.
Yep.
I'm on 2%.
You're good.
Thank you for watching, everybody.
All right. That has been another episode of the Infinite Rabbit Hole podcast. Until next time, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking out the Infinite Rabbit Hole podcast. If you're looking for more of our stuff, head on over to infiniterabbithole.com, where you can find links to all the podcast players that we are available on, and even our video platforms such as TikTok and YouTube. While you're there, make sure to check out all the links for our socials and hit that follow so you know when all the new stuff from our podcast comes out. And until next time, travelers, we'll see you right here in the next fork in the path of the Infinite Rabbit Hole. Bye.